Does the devil have a heart? I sat in Miss Cherry's third-grade classroom, shaking my leg. I had to go to the bathroom, real bad-like, but I was just too afraid to raise my hand and ask. We kids from the orphanage had become too afraid to do almost anything on our own, much less make an important decision like going to the bathroom or getting a drink of water without first asking permission. The matrons yelling, screaming, cursing, hitting, and kicking had taken a very heavy toll on me, just as it had on many of the other children. I sat at my desk watching the big white-faced clock, as it seemed to take forever to click from one black number to another. My stomach was beginning to cramp, and the pain was almost more than I could bear. I knew that I would never make it to the bell. If I were to wet on myself, the entire class would laugh at me again, just like last time. Suddenly, I jumped up from my desk and I ran up to Mrs. Cherry. "Mrs. Cherry, please let me go to the bathroom early. I can't hardly wait anymore," I whispered loudly toward her ear. She nodded, giving me permission. I turned and walked as fast as I could out of the classroom door. Holding myself on the front of my pants, I ran toward the bathroom, the entire time thanking Jesus for allowing me to be brave enough to ask to go to the bathroom early. After completing my task, I flushed the toilet and headed back to my classroom, only to find Mrs. Cherry standing in the doorway. As I approached, she raised her finger to her lips, telling me to remain quiet. Slowly, she knelt down on one knee and asked, "Roger, why are you so afraid all the time?" "I don't know, Miss Cherry. I just am." She smiled, reached out, placed her hand on the side of my face. "Roger, dear, one day you will leave that terrible orphanage, and you will be able to give your heart to someone special, someone who will truly love you." "That ain't true, Miss Cherry." "Why would you say that, Roger?" "'Cause Matron Mother Winters and the judge with the big head told me that I ain't got no heart." "That's not true, Roger." "Yes, ma'am, Miss Cherry, that's what they said." "Well then, that's just a big lie." "Mother Winters, she's mean all the time, but the judge, he wouldn't tell a lie or he'd go to jail for doing bad things." "You wait right here, Roger," she told me. Mrs. Cherry stood up and walked over to her desk, bent down, and she opened the bottom drawer. When she stood up, she held her hand behind her, as if she were hiding something. She placed her finger to her lips, reminding the class to remain quiet. When she returned to the hallway, she closed the classroom door and knelt down in front of me once again. Pulling her hand from behind her back, she held out a large Valentine card toward me. "Roger, this is my heart, and I give it to you." Slowly, with shaking hand, I reached out for the card. Suddenly, she pulled it away from me. "Ain't you going to let me have your heart, Miss Cherry?" "Roger, this card isn't my heart. It's just a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard. Someone giving you their heart is a feeling. It is a very special feeling that lives only inside of you and only you. Something once given cannot be taken away by anyone." Slowly, she took the large valentine and began pinning it on my shirt pocket. "Roger Dean, I am giving you this valentine so everyone who sees it will know that someone has given you their heart. Tonight, when you take this valentine off, you'll still be able to feel my heart inside of you, okay?" "Okay, Miss Cherry." As I walked back into the classroom, I had a large smile on my face. "I have a heart," I told the entire class as I sat down at my desk. Seconds later, the bell rang. As the classroom cleared, I flattened out the card, which had somewhat turned upwards as it caught on my desk when I sat down. Walking down the hallway, I smiled and told several teachers, "I have a heart and nobody can take it away." They just smiled, and then one of them reached out and patted me on top of my head. Standing at the front door of the school was Mrs. Dreher, the school principal. "Look, Miss Dreher, I got a heart and it's big too." "You sure do, Roger Dean," she stated as she bent down and kissed me on the cheek. I ran and skipped across the baseball diamond, heading back toward the orphanage gates. Just as I was about to enter, I saw a large frog in the middle of Spring Park Road. Not wanting him to get run over by a car, I looked in both directions to make sure it was safe, and then I ran out into the roadway to pick it up. "I got a big heart," I told the large frog. I reached down and picked up the large toad. All at once it began to pee on my hand. "Now you're going to get a big wart thing," said one of the boys who slept in my room with me. "Why did he pee on me? I was just trying to save him from getting run over." "'Cause you scared him. They always pee like that when they get scared, 'cause they're always afraid." Carefully, I walked over and placed the frog in the azalea bushes, and then I headed to my dormitory to do my chores. Halfway up the walkway, I noticed Matron Mother Winters walking toward me. "Hey, Mother Winters, ma'am, you were wrong. I got a big heart and can't nobody take it away from me. That's what Miss Cherry told me." "Shut up, you little bastard, and get up to your room and change and do your work. Do you understand?" she screamed as she reached out and ripped the large valentine off my chest. "Yes, ma'am, Mother Winters." "What's that?" she said as she pointed down to the front of my wet pants. "Did you piss your pants?" "I'm sorry, Mother Winters.